Let's see if you relate to this. Sometimes I really wonder whether there is knowledge to know, or if it's all the spiral of nothingness projecting me into the abyss. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just wonder, which one is it? Is it substance or absence of substance? Is it both or is it neither? Like the other day. More like the other year. I was having coffee at High Risk Coffee with a good friend of mine who does art like me, but not at all like me. I don't remember at all what we were talking about, but somehow I ended up exclaiming, well, of course anything can be art. Because, anything can be art. To which my friend replied, yeah, right. At that moment, I realized that he thought I was joking. Yet I wasn't. I was joking a little bit. I'd say maybe like 10% joking, 90% not joking. No, let's say 8% joking, 92% not joking. Mostly that I wasn't joking, but I thought there was something deliciously absurd about that statement that made me smile. But besides that, I was dead serious, kind of. Who is really just completely dead serious? Besides like a male character in one of those ultra serious superhero movies. So I wasn't really joking, but there was a level of jokes in there somehow. So how could I explain to my friend that yes, this statement was sort of absurd, but I was also serious? You know what I mean? Well, he was mad. Couldn't take it. He ended up exploding. Anyway, what I want to talk to you about today is the wonderful prospect that relativism may or may not be relative. Really, that is not the accurate phrasing to describe the beauty of this phenomenon. No, I should be saying relativism is relative in relation to relative circumstances. That's a certainty. It's rather certain. It's fairly ubiquitous. Well, it depends on the parameters you want to consider. Relativism is commensurate to the relativism of the particular generality you want to examine. Imagine you're thinking about the relative qualities of a certain situation, a certain certainty, if you know what I mean. Then those relative qualities become somewhat certain. Let's take an example. Think about a particular kind of circumstance, like, for example, going to the grocery store, or being part of a global movement to save the Galapagos turtles, or if you prefer drawing a flower. Well, imagine that in this particular condition, you may ask yourself whether or not things are relative. But the true answer would be that things are only relative in proportion to the relativity of this unique state. And that is absolutely indubitable. Well, in the right setting. So now that you can think of relativism as a relative notion in certain types of manners. How can you use this knowledge to your advantage? The point of this talk is ultimately to help you reach new heights and enjoy the next level. Oh, the next level. It's such a great level. When you reach the next level, you never have to say, I'm trying to reach the next level ever again. Of course, that next level is relative to the specific application you have a priori established of it. But somehow everyone is trying to reach that comprehensive next level. So how can the relativism of relativism help you with your next level ambitions? Well, it depends. And I'm not really joking. A little bit, of course, but mostly not. Mostly, what I want you to consider is the freeing qualities of acceptation. If you accept that relativism is sometimes relative and sometimes it's not, it all depends on the context, then you can be profoundly liberated. You never have to worry ever again, because you will always both be right and wrong, depending on the unique observation through which you will consider the special circumstance. Oh, that feeling of liberty. You can let yourself get convinced of what everyone says while also believing none of it. You can climb a mountain of expectation and chant to the gods that you enjoy nothingness and universalism. You can read Plato and think, yes, that makes sense, while counting how many teeth you have in your mouth. Nothing stops you now from believing that you're right to eat a bowl of oatmeal instead of a bowl of cereal. You can go back to your high school and tell young minds, don't forget to stick your stickers somewhere. There is no use to save them unless you think you may get a really awesome notebook. In this case, you should save them. Yes, now you can. So, to go back to my friend at Iris Coffee, I think it is clear that his biggest mistake in life was that he was on the wrong quest. He wanted to understand the world in a way that was both possible and impossible, and he wanted it just to be possible. You can't just want things to be one thing. It's selfish. If I were to see him today, I can't because he exploded, unfortunately, I would tell him that he should remember that there was a time when he never even wondered if art could be anything. He had never even wondered if art could be nothing. There was even a time when he had never wondered if art could be something. But somehow, at one point in his life, he started to take a whole lot of things for granted to the point that he could not imagine that things could be different in correlation with their individual situations.